Hello. Well, here I can talk. It's on the farm, and this week I will go see an apartment in a project of Axel Vervoort and eat in a Japanese restaurant bistro from the son of a famous Japanese chef on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then in the evening there will be a performance by artists of the Scala of Milan in Antwerp, and well, I go see that too. So, and but this week, well, I have more or less finished the content of my overview of history, and well, I like to talk about it. It's only recently that I'm interested in history in this intensive way. Um, well, I always had all kinds of interests, but it's easy to talk about what I'm doing now. Um, so I let it start with, of course, the alphabet, 1600 before Christ. The alphabet, very important. Syria, Lebanon, Israel, that area. And well, Phoenicians had an alphabet, and well, the Romans, the Greek alphabet, well, they are all derived from that original alphabet, Jewish alphabet. They have so many alphabets, but the basic idea wasn't invented by the Egyptians. It was, um, a little bit later. Then, well, in once we had an alphabet, we started to write down all these kind of stories. And Homerus was a very famous writer, 750 before Christ, and so he wrote a very interesting story. And in the years afterwards, let's say 500, 400, you see all kind of Greek philosophers. And well, it's interesting to see. I'm not going to mention their names, but some have been copied very much by scholars, and others have almost been forgotten. But I see a tendency. You have the ones who, well, they said that was Parmenides. The the well, the stories about the gods, well, they're not serious enough, because the gods lie, cheat, commit adultery, do all kind of wrong things. So that's a wrong understanding by humans of what gods really are. And so there is a very perfect world, but we don't know anything about it. So that was 500 before Christ. And you also had a guy who, well, he believed in atoms, and that was against what most people were thinking about the universe. It was generally accepted that you could cut an apple endlessly into smaller pieces. So no atoms, because atom means you can't cut it anymore. So they believed in something eternal, something endless, like a circle. So okay, and but there was a current against that, those ideas of perfection and rules, eternal rules and ideas, and that was Heraclitus. But all his writings disappeared because Plato really hated those ideas. Also, the idea that of atoms was completely didn't make any sense to Plato, and also the idea expressed by saying you can't bathe twice in the same stream. So if you go sit in the stream, a little river in the countryside with water, and well, the exact situation where maybe an animal is drinking from the river, a bird is flying over it, so the exact same situation, you can't repeat that twice. So you can't bathe twice in the same stream. So you can't do 2 times things over. So things evolve, things change. The fundamental aspect of expressing how you feel about life. And well, that man also had expressions. I discovered some of them in a bookshop a few weeks ago. Like, well, no happiness without sorrow, no health without unhealthy. So it's not about perfection. It is about things changing, and well, good times and bad times, and well, so that's part of life. So yeah, okay, that was also a Greek philosopher. And then we come to the generals. We have, of course, Hannibal. He tried to, well, to delete Rome for the people from Carthago, which is Tunisia today. They didn't succeed, and well, then later in 1146, Carthago was completely destroyed by the Romans before Christ, and so from then on their empire went very smooth. They had no more nation against them, basically. But yeah, I forgot to mention the 3 important Greek philosophers. It's of course Socrates, Plato, and Aristoteles. And well, Socrates died in 399 before Christ, so almost 400 before Christ. And Plato at that time was 19 years old. And well, Plato, he didn't like that old man, his teacher, to be, well, to be killed by society, condemnation by a court, and he thought the court was wrong in doing that. And so even they had democracy, they had courts, but the court, in the eyes of Plato, took the wrong decision. And so he wanted to have a better world, and he said, well, if we all see existence as ideas, eternal ideas that, well, exist in some kind of immaterial world parallel to our material world, and well, much better than our material world, but we cannot see them, we cannot smell them, we cannot feel them. They're, well, a world of ideas. And then he talks about the cage and a fire, and so you only see the shadows of the ideas, of the real thing. So the real thing is the idea, and we are just trying to get a glimpse of it. So, and then, well, Plato, when he died and was an old man, Aristoteles was his best student. But then Aristoteles, he went to Alexander the Great from Macedonia, and he was his teacher. And after teaching Alexander, he went to Athens again, but Alexander conquered Egypt, Middle East, he conquered everything, Alexander, and that was 323 before Christ. And then he also captured Greece, but of course he left Athens intact because that was the hometown of his teacher, and he liked his teacher. And Aristoteles, he started school, he called it Lyceum, and well, he has been teaching. how we should think, how we should behave. Well, they basically invented school, humanity. So, but most of the things that they found out at the time, well, they were teaching at the time, and many centuries afterwards, because they always refer to the books of Aristoteles. Well, about most things they were wrong, like the Earth is the center of the universe. About the basic elements of the universe, they were the Earth, not the sea, the water, yeah, which is in the sea, and the air, and then of course fire. But later, but much later, around the French Revolution in 1700 something, 1890, de Lavoisier, he discovered he could split water into oxygen and hydrogen, and he discovered he could split air into oxygen and nitrogen. So yeah, then of course, well, all the ideas of Aristoteles were abandoned, but not at the time. But then, yeah, after Aristoteles, we had, of course, Hannibal, and then, of course, Julius Caesar, the famous general who conquered Belgium. And well, after Julius Caesar, well, he was also killed in 55 before Christ. And Cleopatra, his mistress, his wife, whatever. And so after, well, then there was still a man, Plotinos, 270 after Christ. And the Roman emperor at the time, he liked him. And so he said, well, there is something perfect, goodness, eternity, and we can see it, and that is some kind of light somewhere in the universe, and that creates everything. That is a perfect thing, and from that there are spheres of life, and our material world is the farthest away, and the closest is the spirit, the idea, and between is the soul, and that's where we have the human soul and the soul of everything. And so, well, that was Plotinos. And then in 300s after Christ, a Roman Empire, he said Christianity should be state religion. We stop persecuting Christians, and we moved the capital from Rome to Byzantium, that called in Constantinople, because he was Constantine the emperor. And then, well, a last person to mention in this video is Aurelius Augustinus, who, well, around 400, he became 75, he died in 430. He was also from region of Carthago, so Tunisia today, and he, well, came with perfect heaven. So he explained in his book Confessions about his life converting to a Christian. He became a bishop, and really he said love God loves everything. God created everything. God is fantastic, and you need to pray to come close to him, and it's fantastic. And that is God. And of course here on earth we make many mistakes. Our virtues, that they are not always that perfect, but in heaven afterwards it's really heavenly there, and it's much better. And so that book, I didn't read it yet. It's called The City of God, and it's an extensive book. It has been very influential during the centuries afterwards. And so that's The City of God by Aurelius Augustinus. And well, I think my time is up, and I have now 14 minutes, and well, there is so much more to say about history, but not in this video, so enjoy next time. Have a nice day.